Hello, everybody. Today is Monday, April 29th, 2024, and we're back to talk about more Survivor 46. This was episode 9, Spicy Jeff. It's an interesting episode, I thought. Can't wait to get into it with you guys, so let's not waste any time, and let's kick this off. All right. My name, of course, is John Dunphy Hussein. I'm joined by my fellow tribe mates, Miss Gina Morgino, Mr. Kyle Petty, and Mr. Mikey Marmon. How's everybody doing? Oh, wow. Not very good, I guess.
I was waiting for someone else to answer.
Today just felt like a day. Got my ass kicked,
Yeah.
But we're doing fine. We're doing fine, I suppose.
I hear you.
Today I sat on a bus for about 5.5 hours and then ate some Chinese food. So,
Okay.
chilling, calling in from Birmingham, Alabama today.
Birmingham, Alabama. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gina?
I had
Better
outside
than
time today, so
Kyle or
I'm doing
Mikey's.
great. I had outside time today, so I'm in a good mood.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, I'm still sick, so there you go. We are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. You can find us on all the social media platforms. So go look for us. Throw us a like, a comment, a subscription, a follow. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a really nice review. We'd really appreciate it. So let's get into this episode of Survivor 46. Obviously, last time we saw Tevin leave, right? But the star of the tribal really was Q, who decided to just go totally rogue and off the rails and just ruin everything about tribal and everybody vote him out. Obviously, that still didn't happen. Tevin went home. But we had to now deal with the aftermath of that. So, first interaction that I think was important to talk about was just Q and Tiff, because now Tiff is finally able to confront Q about the fact that he is telling people about her idol. And something that really struck me about this too is that obviously Tiff's name was out there because she had mentioned Maria's name, and I just felt like I feel like Q led the charge on a lot of that too, and it's just annoying to me because it's like at the end of the day, Q started this 6-person alliance. He voted the first person out of the alliance. Now he's voting other people out. It's like, so I don't know. Just what are your thoughts on Q and Tiff and just this whole stupid alliance?
His whole thing too was like, you pick one person that you're going to protect. Like his job in this alliance was to protect Tiff. This is the reason he was bringing her in. And also it's like, if this is your number one, she should be able to float ideas to you without fear of you immediately turning around and being like, oh, nope, she said someone I didn't like, so I'm jumping on her throat now. That, I don't know, that was crazy to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, you have to at least be able to talk about things and entertain things. And especially, I would think, if you're Q and Tiff, who are not just part of the 6, but have been together through day one and have literally been through the trenches. Like, Yanu got their asses kicked. And the second that Tiff mentions a name that you don't like, you're going to start going around telling everybody she's got an idol and, they should get her out next. And, like, unbelievable.
There's just a lot. There's a lot of issues with that. Because also, like, blabbing about the idol thing is like, even if I was now going to walk around and say other things about you and sort of kind of work against you because I felt like you weren't like agreeing with me or you floated an idea I didn't love, there's literally no way to come back from the broken trust. It's not just that maybe I started to float your name around. It's also that, like, you told everybody, like, about my game. Like, you can't come back from that.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree. And, it was funny coming back from this tribal too, because obviously everybody was talking about what had happened with Q. But one of the things that I thought was funny was that in the midst of all this, you had Liz sitting there crying because nobody was acknowledging the fact that she had pulled off, she was freaking out about the fact that her move was overshadowed by everything that Q had done. Yeah, that was very silly to me. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Because I will add to it, but I won't add to it yet. If you guys want to add anything to it.
I mean, it was more how she shared it. I think that was crazy. I understood where she was coming from a game point of view. I also do think it's a little silly for her to be taking as much credit for it as she was.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what makes this you? Like, what makes this move?
I will say that I do think it was her putting her foot down super hard during that tribal and say, I'm still doing this regardless. I think that may have driven it home. But like to say this is solely your move. I mean, look, the edit did not show us that you were the one out there actually rallying the votes. This is just something that like you did float around and people agreed. That's not exactly you executing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crying and carrying on. I mean, especially like if this was supposed to be one of your big moves, you may never know if you're going to get a move like that again. So I guess if you do believe that this was your move, I could see being like a little miffed about it. But
it's just like I don't know if this is a thing of Liz putting more stock in this than she should have, or the editors screwing up again. You know, like because we were given no reason to believe this was like the Liz show on this movie.
Right,
you know?
right. Maybe we're in the dark.
Right. And it does make me think a little bit more about some of these other players we've seen leave. There's just something weird about this season with like the moves that are being made and the people that think they should be getting the credit for it. Like it feels a lot more muddled in this season than in other seasons where it's like you have someone that, decides they want to pull off this move. They rally in the numbers. They either hit the shot or they miss it. Whereas I feel like in this one, we've had several votes now, right? Well, at least a couple where we saw Soda leave and Venus, Liz, and Tevin thought they were all the ones responsible for that. Now you have Tevin leave. Liz was crying that she wasn't getting the credit for it. And then in a confessional not long after that, we saw Venus saying, I got Tevin out of here. I'm glad I got that move done. It's like, you had like two moves back to back where you have multiple people thinking that they're the ones that deserve the credit. And then, not to jump too far ahead, but like with Kenzie, even at one point in this episode, talking about maybe going after Tiff, like we saw, it was just funny. Like the first reaction that like Maria and Charlie gave once they separated from, from Kenzie was like, I love this move to take out Tiff, but like, this is going to be Kenzie's plan. Because Maria has been talking about getting Tiffany out too. And it's just funny to me that like, I'm very curious to see when we get to that final tribal council and the last three players are making their pitches, who's going to be taking credit for what moves, who in the jury will back up who on that move. Cause even the jury members might have a different perspective than, so that in general just feels very odd to me too this season.
The Maria thing was so interesting because I feel like that was the opposite take that we usually get. Like normally people want to claim moves, and the fact that she was like, no, let's let other people believe it's their move and then that'll be better for me. I feel like we so rarely ever see that happen. Like that people are like, this is a really big move. I don't want the credit though.
Right. But all right. So in this immunity challenge, we got some tree mail before. And the tree mail told us that this tribe would have to split up into 3 teams of 3 and that they would be choosing the teams. So very quickly, we had Kenzie, Ben, and Tiffany. Kenzie and Tiffany, not any interest in working with Q. So they pulled Ben in. Hunter, Charlie, and Maria. And then just by the fact that they were the last 3 left over, it was Q, Venus, and Liz.
I thought it was so fun that they low-key split themselves up into our draft teams.
That is funny.
That's amazing. I didn't realize.
I was looking like, wait, that's Team Morgino. What do you mean?
That's funny. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, I clocked it.
Anybody left on my team?
Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah,
Mikey.
Sorry. But all right. So one of the interesting things after these teams were split up to me was that Q, after just coming off trying to tell everybody to vote him out, is now telling Maria and Charlie that they should throw this immunity challenge because if they throw it, Hunter will not be able to have immunity and they can get him out. And if you remember correctly, the whole reason that the first member of the 6-person alliance, Tim, was voted out by Q was because Tim said Hunter's name. So now we've gotten to a point where Q is just trying to pull off the move that the person that he voted out 3 weeks ago suggested to him that he freaked out about. But what do you think about Maria and Charlie? They both were like, no, I'm not throwing this thing. Why would I want to throw this? They actually expressed interest in maybe working with Hunter.
I love that energy. I hate a throwing challenge. There is never a time where like people start saying they're going to throw a challenge. And I'm like, yeah, throw it. That's going to be interesting. Don't throw the challenge. Yeah. Play the challenge. You're here to fucking play. Play.
Right. I totally agree.
And like also at the end of the day, like you never know. You never know if you're going to be able to win at the end. You know, like and Charlie did pull it off. So obviously it was the right choice not for Charlie and Maria not to throw that challenge, because then Charlie wouldn't have had immunity. I don't know. I never think it's a good idea to throw a challenge, because also people are going to find out and you're going to realize. And if they realize, they're not going to want you there, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I've so rarely seen that work out in their favor.
Could you imagine, right, too, like Charlie throws this thing, and then people either find out that they felt so comfortable that they just decided they could throw it, or just something else goes weird. You know, the vote gets messed up. They need a name to throw out. Somehow Charlie's name comes up, and now an immunity challenge that you could have won, you decided to throw. You know, that would be not good, not good at all. I'm really glad. I was really happy for Charlie in this one. So
me too.
All right, so
congrats, Charles.
Charles. So what did you think of the immunity challenge itself? Did you like the fact that we were split into 3 teams? I know that we talk a lot about we're constantly breaking down into smaller numbers. The only reason I didn't have as much of a problem with it this time is that we still only ended up with 1 person with immunity and everybody else at risk.
I generally like when they do these like 3, 2, 1 like situations. I think this is a lot of fun to watch, because it's like that like twist of like, okay, now these people that you've worked with to get this far, now this is your competition, I think is always really interesting. And like kind of like that's how the game works too. Like Survivor as a whole, like you're working together with these people, and then right at the end, like these people that you've worked with to get this far, these are now your competition to win. So it's like cool. It's like the full thing on a smaller level, which is really interesting to see. But I always really like this kind of challenge.
Yeah.
The splitting up into teams only really bothers me if it messes with the voting numbers later. If it's strictly in relation to like who's winning immunity, I don't care if they split up into teams for the challenge, you know, as long as they still have a normal tribal at the end of it, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually quite like this. I wouldn't mind seeing more of this.
They did a similar one last season, right? Or was that in Australia?
They've always done one like this in the new era, I believe. Like it's always been like, this is kind of like a staple.
Okay. Yeah, I like it as long as, again, you're not giving immunity to multiple people, or you're not taking votes away from multiple people. Don't make that the only voting party. Just let it be literally just about single immunity, and I like it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, very nice. And you know, so this was a pretty involved challenge. We had you had to cross a balance beam, then you had to grab these sticks and hold up a ball and cross another balance beam. Once you got across there, the next people would go. So once your whole team was there, you would dig up this rope rung. You'd then have to build like a kind of like a bridge with these ropes. Once you got across there, your team had to land 3 balls in these 3 rings. And obviously, as they went from the first stage, the team that came in last, they were out. The team that came in last in the next stage, they were out until we were down to our last team. And that last team, they all had to balance on that very thin platform, usually literally with just like their heels, also holding that handle behind their head. And if they let go of the handle, or if their foot came off the beam, they were done. They were out. And as we said, this was a pretty good one. So actually, one other thing, I thought it was funny that Jeff was like, I'm going to put my Survivor fan hat back on, and I'm going to call it that Q, Liz, and Venus are the first losers out. It was like,
brutal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a way to like knock the wind out of somebody's sails before they even get started. Like you don't need to hear that from the host.
I would be like, fine, I just want fucking play then.
Right,
Like
and
whatever.
it just really drives it home. It's like, come on, this is what everybody at home is thinking. It's like, are they?
Thanks,
Like,
Chad.
I'll tell you what,
like,
I was thinking that, so he was in my head. He was in my head for sure.
I didn't
But
know
you know
what
what?
to
It lit a
expect,
fire under
honestly.
their bellies a little bit
Yeah.
because they made it to the second round at least.
I know. So yeah, exactly. So they proved him wrong. They managed to prove him wrong. Venus, Q, and Liz made it through to the second round. It was actually Ben, Kenzie, and Tiffany that were eliminated first. So this put Venus, Liz, and Q into a showdown with Hunter, Maria, and Charlie. And I'll tell you, even in the second round, Venus, Q, and Liz did go out here, but it was a lot closer than I initially
really
thought it was going
close.
to be.
Yeah, no, it was very close.
Venus was the first one across on her rope bridge. I thought this was very good. And but yeah, and at the end of the day, it was Hunter, Maria, and Charlie that would go to the final round. Maria did great, but she did come down first. And then, of course, Charlie outlasts Hunter and takes the win.
Good for Charlie.
Really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I like him.
I also I also love the fact that like with the way that things happened here. So like we knew that Q and Hunter were names that everybody had, out there. So we knew going back to camp that neither one of them was safe. But then you started hearing about a lot of whispers about potential blindsides and stuff like that. So it made me feel like because everyone was still on the table, other than Charlie, like it felt like it set up like a pretty good scramble for this here, which is I think starting out with Kenzie now going to people with the idea of getting Tiff out. Was this something that you saw coming? Did you at least at this point, did you think maybe it would have taken a little longer for Kenzie to turn on her?
I would have expected it to take longer. I was surprised she came out with it this soon, but it's not totally surprising that that's the direction that she would want to head in, because it would make sense that she doesn't feel like she could like stack up, or like their games would be too similar at a final tribal. So I get why she would want to get Tiff out, but I thought this was a little too soon for that personally, but it didn't matter in the end. So.
Right.
Yeah, it felt too soon, like as a viewer, but then you do kind of wonder. So many times in these games, you end up thinking like, oh my gosh, you should have done that forever ago. Like, and now you missed your chance. And it's like, is this the moment? Who's to say? Because usually when you get down to like 5 or 6, you're already saying, oof, I may have erred. So now you're at 9. Is this the time? Do you wait only one more? Like, it's kind of hard to say.
Right. And I think that this sets up some interesting things, because obviously we know that that Tiffany stays, but like what's funny is that almost simultaneously, or as at least as it was shown to us, at the same time that Kenzie is going around talking about blindsiding Tiff is talking to people about how she's going to be flushing her idol, literally just because she doesn't want it anymore. She goes, everybody knows about it. It's out there. I don't want this in my pocket anymore. I just want to get rid of it. And so now, though, also, which I want to talk to you guys about also, but it also just sets up, I think, something interesting for the future, because I feel like Tiffany is going to know. She's going to find out that Kenzie was going around pitching her name, and she's still there now. So, like, I'm curious to see where we go from there.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a feeling she's not going to find out. I don't think I don't think anyone's running to Tiff and being like, "Oh, Kenzie told us she wanted to vote you out," just yet, because I think they would still rather get Tiff and her idol out than Kenzie.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine that they're gonna. I would imagine that they're gonna stick with Kenzie before they go to Tiff.
Okay.
I could be so wrong.
It makes sense.
Does Q know about that plan? I don't remember. Was he in on it or no?
No, not at all. Kenzie wouldn't talk to you.
Right.
Because I was going to say that would be like a way to gain favor with her, to like run and tell her. But if he doesn't know, then that's a moot point.
Yeah. Which, by the way, just the whole, Mikey, I heard you just mentioned Kenzie wouldn't talk to Q, which reminded me, I forgot to mention another part where Q was trying to talk to Kenzie to like get her to turn on Tiff, and Q was being like, "Oh, well, Tiffany didn't tell you about this, the 6-person alliance." She was like, "Well, you didn't either."
Yeah.
But yeah, very funny. Frank. Kenzie was trying to hijack and intercept a blindside move on Tiff, so she made herself a part of it. I'm sure they were going to focus and pile on Tiff next.
Probably.
Yeah.
Idol's a target, man. This whole situation where you tell everyone you have an idol in this new era is really starting to backfire on people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why they do it.
I don't know.
Well, and so
then,
consistently.
Yes,
then,
like, just keep your mouth shut.
On the other hand, though, you look at Hunter, who no one knew about his idol, and he still didn't play it. Idiot.
Oh,
Except he was telling people about it this episode. He was going to people like, I have an idol and I'm going to use it.
He kept it for so long, though. He should have just played it. I don't know what
Right.
what that
I have so much to
Yeah,
say.
I don't know why you have to
I was
tell people.
thinking.
I know.
You
would have had all the power.
And then you get rid of the idol and the target's gone. I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know why. I cannot for the life of me understand how he felt safe enough to not play that idol.
There's so much to unpack there.
I don't get it. But anyway, so we had people talking about targeting Tiff, then everybody finding out Tiff has an idol. Plan changes from Tiff to Hunter. And people seemed on board with that until Hunter started to panic and then started to tell everybody that he had an idol. And at that point in his panicking, looked like he was trying to get people on board to vote for Ben. And like, it's just, God, I like Hunter. I do. He's very good at a lot of these challenges. But the strategy, I mean, this is the same thing almost that we saw before last Tribal when him and Q were trying to flip votes at the very last second and all that stuff. And it's like, you got to be better than this, like, at strategy. Like, it's just no one's going to 10 minutes before you walk in and be like, yeah, I'll do that instead.
I also just think like Ben is such a hard sell because like, not only do people like him, he's not like a particularly strong threat. I don't think at this point anyway, like maybe at the end, like if he's still there, like he has a leg to stand on just for like being likable enough to get the votes. But like he's not, out of everybody there, he's not the threat. That's not where you try to throw the votes. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
People are always going to feel like they have bigger fish to fry than Ben right now. Yeah.
And especially because like they like Ben. Like Kenzie was not going to go turn around and start putting votes on Ben at that point. There's no way.
No.
Yeah. All right. So this brought us into our next tribal council, where Jeff, he was so entertained by the last one that for this one he brought a cushion and some popcorn.
Kyle.
Just because Jeff is always just trying to be the star. Like, stop trying to be funny. Stop trying to do all this stuff. Just sit down and be the host. Like, he had to make it about himself. That's what was like annoying. Get you out of here with your cushion and your popcorn.
I mean, they liked the popcorn.
Liz got to eat.
I mean,
Liz finally got to eat.
Good for Liz, I suppose. But of all the things you edited out, I didn't need to see this.
Oh man,
I thought though this was a fun tribal to watch.
Yeah. Well, what did you like in particular?
Say what you will about Q, but the chaos he brings to these like full group tribals is great television. Just
I'm exhausted, Mikey.
The fact that he is willing to just go in there and blow everything up is wildly fun to watch. Like, he's crazy, and I don't want him to win, but I'm glad he's there.
It was funny to me how many times people in the tribal were saying like straight up just be like, yep, Q just brings the crazy, and just like, how crazy are we gonna get this time? And it was like everybody just being like talking about how crazy it is. I was like, oh my god.
It's fun though. It's like this is the kind of tribal that we want. Like you want the chaos at a tribal council. It's more fun than when it's like cut and dry, and like that one with Banu where they were like, well, we're all three voting for Banu, so no point of even writing his name down. Like, give me a little bit of craziness.
Yeah, all right.
I will
I
just
agree.
say
I
that.
agree with that. Unfortunately, I hate that I do, but I do. Like, okay, yeah, that's fair.
It is fun. I'm just so tired.
Yeah. I think what's funny to me about it too is just like the way that Yanu started the season, the way that Banu was at tribals, and Q being the one that had to like coach him to like keep it together and not be so like just all over the place. And now like that's all we get from Q. So it's like so but
You took a page out of Banu's book.
yeah, what happened?
Wow, I didn't see it that way, but it kind of
Well, that's
is
what I
true.
mean. Like, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, Q is Banu's coach. Like,
Yeah.
Banu, you say too much. You get too emotional. You do too much
Right?
this, too much that. And it's
Oh,
like Q is
man.
the last person that should have been trying to coach this person because
Yeah.
they're literally the same. Maybe just like, just a little more
Just less
intense about it.
tears.
He's
And
the
less
same.
tears.
He's Bono and it's same man, different font. Like they're exactly
Right,
the
right.
same.
Yeah. But the tribal started, and of course, Jeff wanted to talk about last tribal, so somehow he gets talking, between Tiff and Q. Tiffany says that Q sunk her game, and Q says that Tiffany sunk her own game by throwing out names, which I'm assuming means Maria. Tiff went back saying that like Q's been throwing people's names out. He threw Venus's name out, Hunter's name out, blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this
That's
is
how
a
you
game
play.
where you have to throw out names, and if you
Right,
can't,
that's
if you
what it
can't,
is.
if you can't throw out names to whoever's supposed to be your number one ally, if that person can't be comfortable giving you a name because they're going to turn on you, like
Right.
how is anyone supposed to play?
And how many names has Q thrown out there? I mean,
Every-
anytime the wind blew a different direction, he was bringing up somebody else. And
Yeah.
it's like, you don't get to say that somebody else is being so erratic when, like, you taught them how to be. Q is too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Oh man. But it was very interesting because I felt like we saw, even after Q's whole performance last week, it felt like a lot of people were looking at Hunter coming into this tribal, right? But then you still had people kind of like Q going off again a little bit, Hunter kind of freaking out, trying to figure out where everybody's voting. It was funny to me when Ben brought up the fact that like he was still annoyed about how Q at the last tribal said that he's the only one that's been playing the game. So if he leaves, everyone else can finally start playing, and how like big of an insult that was. And so it made me start to think like Q's going home. Like it just started to feel that way. Like everyone's voting Q. And we didn't get that. What we ended up getting was a 4-4 split on Hunter and Q, with one vote on Ben, which was cast by Q, which meant that we would have to re-vote without Q and Hunter. And this one, from what we saw anyway, was not anywhere near as close. The first vote was for Q, the next 4 were for Hunter, and then Jeff stopped reading them, right? Did we see the other votes?
No, they would
Yeah.
have all. The rest of them would have been for Hunter, though.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
only read one Q.
Okay.
Yeah.
They also did it. It was weird because I was looking for it because I was doing the points, and they didn't show the revote in the
right.
confessional
Yeah.
at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
thought was very strange. So I scored it as if that's how it went. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
God only knows.
But yeah. Hunter sent to jury, a third jury member, with an idol in his pocket.
It's
Go
so
for it, Gina.
crazy.
Go for it.
It's so crazy. Literally, this entire episode, we see him telling people, I have an idol and I'm going to use it. He told like every single person, I have this idol, I'm going to use it. One of the first things we hear them say at Tribal Council is that Hunter's name was put out there as a potential vote. So you already know at the very beginning of Tribal, even before it went off the rails, that people were talking about voting you out. Then,
Right.
as the tribal is going, he's turning to people being like, guys, I don't know what's going on. And they keep saying, no, it's fine. We're going to do Q. But he keeps asking every single person and was clearly not confident at all in any way, shape, or form that this vote was going Q. Why the hell are you not playing your idol? Why
It's
are you
baffling.
not playing your idol?
It's baffling.
In what world did you
can't-
feel comfortable enough to do this?
I can't understand it. I can't.
Especially because we've been saying for weeks, like Hunter keeps winning these immunity challenges and everybody keeps talking about how he's this huge competition threat. And we keep saying the moment you have that opportunity, you have to take it. This was their one shot at getting him out. You're not going to play your idol?
Right.
It was a dumb,
Oh
stupid
my
idiot
God.
move.
Literally nothing to say to that. It's just like retweet.
This is what happens when I change my name on stream. This is what happens. This is the shit that goes down. You make me look bad.
Gina's kiss of death. Well, it didn't go so great when I changed my name to Davis. All right,
Damn.
he was the next boot. So I don't
Ugh.
know. I'm just came in here just by myself. If I do Kenzie's name again, she's gonna be out next.
I was like, I'm not changing my
I'm
name to
solo.
Charlie. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I'm done.
Kyle, you can't do Kenzie's name. It'll just be Kyle,
Kyle
Petty.
Petty.
Well, I mean, I was Kyle Petty, Davis Petty, and that was fun. And then I
Yeah.
thought I was going to put Tiffany's last name in between there, replacing Tevin's. But then I don't know. Then Kenzie started talking shit. And I said, you know what? Just forget it. I can't have my two wives fighting. It's just not a good
My
look.
two wives.
Yeah, family's out of control. Petty family is.
Yes, I agree with everything you guys said about Hunter and his idol. I have nothing to add. I just can't believe he didn't use it. Can't believe it.
I will say though, it was really funny that Kenzie was like right to the end. She was like, "You're fine. You're fine. You're so good. You're so good." And then definitely turned around and went and voted for him. And then like was like, "So sorry."
Right.
That was funny to watch.
Oh, God, like,
She did
and
vote
he's
for
not
Q. She voted for
true.
Q the first time, right?
Yes, and then changed it.
Oh,
down to-
actually, the first vote, Kenzie made me laugh. I made a note of this because she voted Q, and then she said, and I don't know if I missed something about Q talking about how much he loves tater tots, but Kenzie just
so
went.
random.
Kenzie just went. Wish you all the best. Have fun eating tater tots, and then put his
Yeah.
her vote in and walked away. I was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
I thought it was just silly goofy.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
I
what
don't
is
know,
this?
like,
He must have
I don't know,
mentioned that he
like-
likes tater tots. I don't
Yeah.
know.
but oh well, that was fun.
Oh well.
So,
gotta
on
say-
oh yeah, go ahead.
These we have these 90-minute episodes, and every week I'm like, can't wait to see a reward challenge. And every
Mhm.
week there's no reward challenge.
I know.
What happened to reward challenges? Bring them back.
I
They-
know.
They crammed them in by making them combined immunity and reward challenges, but then the rewards are just like basic supplies and stuff. They're not like the fun rewards that we want to see.
Mhm.
Like,
I want,
has
like-
anyone been to the sanctuary yet for like a big meal? I don't
Oh,
even remember.
there has been
No.
There is no sanctuary this time around that we've seen.
Yeah, I
There's
haven't seen
been
anybody
no-
go and like get a shower and like get to eat
No,
and have a
nothing
glass
like
of
that.
wine, right? Nothing, right? Like,
Nothing.
jeez, what kind of survivor is this?
The next
No.
Arguing for people to be more luxurious. What is wrong with me?
Kyle, I can't believe
I-
you changed your name to Kyle Petty Basal.
It's
Just
never
makes
a
the
bad
most
thing.
sense. No, it's the safest thing. That's the house we come from.
I just missed the double challenge episodes. Give me more days on this island.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's you're totally right. If we're getting 90-minute episodes, it's a crime that we don't get at least a couple episodes with double challenges, separate
At the
immunity
very
and reward.
least, give me a journey. My God, there's nothing.
Right. I was gonna bring up journeys, but it's like I don't really know that I want that either.
I was gonna say you don't like those. Like
Right,
famously
they're
hate the
not
journeys.
great. Although I guess a journey could be a little bit more interesting at this stage because things are very chaotic right now. So
Mm.
depending on the three that go, that could be interesting. Do we usually do journeys after merge?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
See,
either.
that's when a journey would actually be interesting.
How would they? So
Right?
how do you think they would decide who goes? Because like at the beginning stage, it's just one person from each tribe. So now,
Right.
like,
You
how would they
guys all
decide who
just
goes
pick.
now?
Didn't they have some version of that at some point where like you had to pick certain people to it was multiple? It could
not
have been
sure.
Australian. I mean, who knows?
Not sure.
Yeah. Oh well. But I think I do think that that's a little bit more interesting. You have to nominate 3 people, and then they go.
Mm.
How do you pick? Who do you decide?
End up
That would
drawing
be a good
rocks.
use of a journey.
Yeah.
Rocks. No, I don't want them to do rocks. I want them to have to discuss and decide. Can you imagine?
Has to be a unanimous decision.
How about
gosh.
Q sets up another hide and seek game. The last 3 people that are hiding get to go on the journey.
Was that this episode, the hide and seek, or was that the episode before?
No, it's
It
last
was
one.
before.
It was so funny because I wasn't here last week that we were all like, what's Hunter doing in that tree? What's Hunter doing in that tree?
I
Playing
know.
hide and seek. He's just playing hide and seek.
I want it to be something really sneaky and dastardly. No.
No, he was just being a silly,
No.
goofy man.
Just hide and seek and Q's game of it, no less.
Also, I wasn't here last week again, but so I just need to say watching Q like try to like be like, well, this person hid here and did this. So this is what I was literally like watching, like, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. It was like watching like astrology girls. Like, oh, this person was born on this day, so because of that, they are super stubborn. And I was just like, this is insanity coming out of this man's mouth.
I know.
But it wasn't just him either, too. That's I think even worse because Venus was also saying, "Oh no, we learned this from the hide and seek." It's like y'all are really going in on hide and seek.
Most of
having a good time.
like, we're just playing a game. Like people just wanted to.
Right.
People just want to play hide and seek, my guy. It's not always that deep.
Right. Well, my favorite moment of the whole thing though was when Liz found Q, because Liz is like one of the most discombobulated people there. She was the first person to be found that was hiding. Q was found like 3rd or 4th. It just happened to be Liz. Everybody over there was walking in the same direction. Liz found him, and then Q goes, "Bad move, Liz. Now I know you're really trying to play the game and you really want to win." And it's like, you're playing
as opposed to everybody else.
She found you. Like what? Yeah,
oh man. Oh god, it was.
And
so
what did he
stupid.
deduce from Hunter? Oh, if you're willing to climb all the way up a tree, then what are you going to do in the game to win? And it's like,
oh yeah.
what?
And I think he also
What?
said, if I can't find you in hide and seek, I can't find you in this game.
Something like that.
Too.
Literally,
Oh,
his only
God.
good take that episode related to hide and seek was later on when like nobody wanted to sit out the challenge, and he was like, "You really thought you were gonna beat the guy who hung out in a tree for fun for 20 minutes in a hanging on a pole challenge? Like,
Yeah,
what did we just learn?"
right.
And I was like, okay, I'll give you that.
That was a fair point.
Only
that was
that.
a fair point.
Only that.
Oh man.
And didn't even
I'm
make
sorry, I
a
just needed to
confession.
get that out. That was crazy.
Please, we had the same. We had
That
the
was
same thoughts.
crazy.
We agree.
Yeah, no, we agree. So the next on looks somewhat interesting.
I can't wait to see the actual footage of this screaming that is occurring over the next on. I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, we had Liz first saying that everyone's making her lose her mind, and she calls everybody hoe bags. That was the first part of the next on. So curious to see what sort of hoe bag behavior everyone is carrying out to upset Liz so much.
Baggish behavior.
Yeah. Hoe baggery.
Yeah.
We see that some people are still gunning for Q, which makes sense. And then somebody yelling. I think this is what you're referring to, right, Mikey?
Yeah.
Somebody screaming. I think said like, "You destroyed my whole game" or something. I don't know, something like that.
I can't wait.
And then we see Maria talking about not trying to take out Q next, but maybe trying to work with him to pull off a game-winning move. Do we think that the game-winning move is just Tiffany still, or is that too obvious because we're already thinking that and there's going to be another name she's thinking of?
Could be Kenzie. I don't know. I'm not sure like what her version of a game-winning move would be at this point, you know?
Yeah.
And what does that look like from Maria?
Right.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Does she think now's the right time to turn on Charlie?
Like that's what I was literally just about to say, that maybe she's trying to go against Charlie, get him out. I'm not sure. Could be any number of things.
Yeah, very interested to see that. And then, of course, just interested to see, as we know, it looked like Tiffany was going to use her idol during this tribal council. She was telling everybody she wanted to flush it. She seemed very sincere to me. She ended up not using the idol, so she still has that. So I guess we'll see how that comes into play, too, coming forward. So,
Now, if Charlie went out next week, that is, I would say, a devastating blow to Team Margino.
I would agree with
Don't
that.
wish that on me.
It's
Yeah, sorry.
because you have
I-
Maria.
on me.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about it like when I said it. Like
Yeah, it would
not in
be
that
really-
context. Like,
It would
but
be really
sorry.
awful to lose your whole team, wouldn't it? That would really suck.
I would still have Maria. Okay.
You still have Maria.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice for you?
Well, let's pull up everybody's teams, right? We got Gina's
Yeah,
team.
let's give it a gander. Let's see where we're at.
Speaking of
Yeah.
a devastating blow,
Oh,
You
Yeah.
lost Hunter. You lost
Your
Hunter.
male winner
R.I.P.
pick.
it hurt
Yeah.
me.
Boof.
But-
R.I.P.
Hey, listen, I
I
really like
changed
Maria
my
and
name
Charlie.
for him, and he left.
Well, you know.
Sorry.
But hey, Maria and Charlie are great. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're still doing good.
Yeah, I'm happy with these two. I'm happy with these two.
The heart. Oh,
yeah. Of course,
you psycho.
I lost my gem. Unfortunately, I know it's really
My gem.
really devastating. And of course, Mariah. Sad about her too. Sorry,
Forgot
Mariah.
about her.
And then
I was like, who?
But I still got Venus and Q. So
You too.
not really-
The fan
too.
favorites.
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Actually, I wrote down a couple of notes about that too. I just called it Venus Watch. I feel like we're always talking about how what's going on with Venus. There were two things that made me chuckle with her in this episode. One was after Hunter voted for Venus at the tribal council before this episode. They were having a conversation, and Hunter was like, "I voted for you because I knew no one would care," and Venus said, "I cared."
That was a pretty rough watch,
Yeah.
that whole conversation.
And Hunter was like, "Yeah, but you're always mad." And Venus was like, "Well, that's rude." So, and then and then also Hunter actually talking to Venus. This was right before tribal council. Hunter tells Venus and Liz that he has an idol, and that he wants to flip the votes this way. I guess Venus's response just was not enough of an acknowledgement from him. So after Hunter tells Venus about the idol, he says, "You don't seem impressed." And she just went, "Well, no, I'm just trying. We're about to go to tribal. I'm trying to think of the numbers now." Like, you just sprung this on me. And why does she have to celebrate that you have an idol?
Their relationship was very strange.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I am enjoying Venus more though. I will say
I
that.
kind of like Venus.
I like her. I
I've
feel
always
like she's
liked her.
gonna have big problems with jury management, but I like her.
Oh, I mean, she's not gonna win this game, but I like her.
Winner, a survivor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Q and Venus have already
Can't wait.
kind of that boat has sailed a little bit there. I don't think either of them can get those jury votes at this point.
What if Q and Venus are both final three? Is it just whoever's with them automatically
Who's
wins?
the third? I guess it depends who the third one is.
Well, I feel like whoever
If
it
it's
is.
Liz, then God only knows what's going to happen there. I think
Chaos.
Venus might actually be able to win it the whole
Yeah.
thing if it's Venus, Liz, and Q.
And that would be totally different if Liz hadn't just been walking around the whole beginning of the game talking about how much money she has. So
Yeah.
Do we
I don't
think
know.
people have forgotten though? Are they still talking about that?
Oh, they know. Yeah.
Well,
I think
know they
someone mentioned
know.
it
but-
an episode or two ago. Someone was
Oh,
talking
okay.
about it, I believe.
So maybe after a while, if she's not saying anything, you kind of you're hungry.
right.
You just kind of forget these things. Maybe.
It's just, can we also just talk about for a second? I know we've kind of talked about it along the way, but just thinking now again, the way that Nami has crumbled, we literally got to merge. They were riding so high, only lost one person due to a medical evacuation. And since we have merged and gotten to the jury phase, the only people that have left have been Nami people. Soda, Tevin, Hunter, all out in a row.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
yeah.
Didn't notice that.
Is
either.
that because they got to this point and just had no idea what they were doing?
I
I know, because
mean,
they were untested. They didn't know what their alliances were. They didn't know who their people they could trust were. They never. I do think because they went so long without going to tribal, it really blew up in their faces.
yeah.
Hmm.
They didn't understand the politicking because they were just having friend time on the beach this whole time.
There's that, and there's also, it's interesting when you don't ever go to tribal too, because all those little different annoyances are the reasons why you want to vote somebody out. Like, you don't ever get to reshift that. So if you have like a little target, somebody does go, then there's different conversations that come from that, and little different relationships start to form. So you can kind of reorient things. They never got like that frustration or that like they never purged, for lack of better phrase. So
because
you're just coming in there with all that infighting. You're just found out.
And I realistically, like, if that like original Nami 6 had gone to tribal before Randon was out of the game, he wasn't the one going home. There's no way.
Yeah.
It probably would have been Venus or Liz. So like it would have completely switched the dynamic.
Right. And like when you think about it, like where Venus was, and now she has outlasted Soda, Tevin, and Hunter,
Soda,
and Liz,
Hunter,
and
Randon.
Right, and even in that way, it almost makes sense, because the only people that ever felt like they had to fight for anything in Nami before merge would have probably been Venus and Liz, right? Always being at the bottom. So like they had never been to tribal, but at least they were maybe thinking, they weren't sitting so comfortable and pretty, like, Hunter and Tevin and Soda were. They were at least kind of thinking strategically, like, how do I get myself to merge, and then from there position myself. Like, they've already had to think about some of those things, whereas it was like a vacation for the other three this whole time. So I don't know, interesting. But yeah, I guess so. We looked at me and Gina's teams. Kyle left, and now Tiffany Kenzie, another interesting one to look at. I'll wait till he's back. I guess while we're still here, I know I'm
team in the meantime.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to pull it up or not.
Doing wow.
What happens when you get the 4th round draft picks? You know what? Randon could have taken it all.
Well, truly, we'll never know.
Maybe we will if he comes back. Season 50, baby. Probably.
50. We should talk about 50 a little bit too when Kyle comes back too.
I think he would come back.
Yeah. What about Jelinski?
I honestly think at least 3 of those 4 would come back. I don't think Jess would come back, but I think the other 3 would, for my team at least.
Tim, Randon, and
Jelinski. Right? I think Jess was utterly miserable on that.
I don't see a world in which I don't think you could interested.
No.
I feel bad.
There's no way. Oh god, that poor girl. My poor team. Bad picks all around. God damn it.
Oh no.
Next year, I'm telling you, I'm taking it so seriously next year. I'm not looking at any pictures. I'm going strictly based off of words.
Bios.
Sorry, Mikey. Mikey's team has been eliminated.
I'm gonna find out what my team looks like next year with on the draft day.
Yeah.
John puts the picture up after I say the name. That's what I'm gonna know.
Is that who I drafted? Okay.
Right. And then
I don't hate my team still.
Kyle's team here, yeah. Team Penny still with Tiffany and Kenzie.
I'll tell you what, I still feel strong about Kenzie, man. I think that's the winner right there. I'm willing to say it out loud.
I feel strong. Well, obviously that's why I picked her. But I also don't feel like Tiffany is in such a bad position. If she does play her idol, that gives her another tribal to get through. It's not outside the realm of possibility that she can win like an immunity. I mean, she's got some life left. And there's still other people that I think that people would rather get out more if she flushes her idol.
I do think too, now with Hunter out of the game, that the individual immunity is a lot more of an even playing field. I think I could see almost anyone on that tribe at this point winning.
Yeah.
Didn't she win one? Am I wrong? I could be very wrong.
Kenzie did. Not to.
Was that the one where Kenzie and Maria both won, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But I could see Tiffany pulling out one too, for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. I freaking love Tiffany.
She's great.
I like her too.
I honestly, my favorite people that are still in the game are not on my team. I do like Venus. I still like Venus. She is my Venus,
I'd like to see my top 3. it's Kenzie, it's Tiffany, and it's Ben. I love Ben, man. I'm very upset I never drafted him.
He
Fucked it
literally
over
he
us.
is so your vibe. It's sad.
Yeah. Oh, poor Ben. I
If
don't
only
hate
we
Liz
knew.
though. I mean, Liz has been fun.
This has
That's-
been
that-
fun. She's
Yeah, I will
crazy,
say
but
that
she's
also.
funny.
Yeah, she is funny.
This
No,
this
I
unwanted
understand
draft
why. Yeah, it's
we've
funny.
also
Like
been
I feel
very
like.
even here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the point system, Ben and Liz have been pretty
Yeah.
even throughout.
Mm.
Let me see. Oh wow, Team Petty Mormon. Is this?
Oof, I
team
slid down to
totals?
third. Damn.
Hunter had a bad week.
I know.
He lost a point for every vote against him at Tribal, and I counted both votes. He
Ugh.
lost a lot of points.
And he also because
He was my
left.
main point getter this whole season.
He was.
I know. Because he
Good
left with an
luck.
idol too, right?
Yeah, so that's
Fuck.
-5 for leaving with the idol, and then on top of that, -10 for every point against or whatever
Hunter,
it
I
is.
changed my name for you.
Anchor.
oh,
That
Damn.
certainly
man.
bitters the pot.
Yeah,
Quite
he was-
Bitters the
betrayal.
pot.
I think
Yeah.
he was like second in like overall points for the season until this episode 2. This
He
he
was
lost. He was like
literally my
-14 this time around.
He was my main breadwinner for my team the entire fucking season.
So I'd say it worked out pretty good.
Ugh.
Oh wow! I'm looking at the.
Oh.
part.
Ouch.
So yeah, 10 -1s for
Fuck.
Hunter in this episode.
And a -5.
Woof.
Damn.
Woof.
Hunter,
Wow, so
we're gonna
his
have to
episode
talk
total-
about this.
His episode total was -10.5 points.
Ugh.
I think that might be the lowest one ever.
Ugh.
Ooh.
But he also
God.
had the
Cheetah's
highest
kiss of
score
death.
ever. To flip. He had both the lowest and highest points for the season so far.
Yeah, literally
happens,
Gina's
you know,
kiss
the
of death. I
bitey.
said I would I said I would want to give him a kiss and then he died.
At least he's setting records in that way, with points and things.
Great.
So
Great.
Listen, that's what happens when you're as strong as Hunter. When the mighty fall. It's
The
yeah,
mighty have
the
the
higher,
mighty
have
fall.
helm.
the higher you are, the harder the fall,
The
Something
bigger
like
they are, the harder
Bigger.
they fall.
or further to fall, the higher you are. Something like that.
The further you fall, the
Yeah,
higher you are. That's
Now-
for sure.
That's the one.
I'm just thinking of that.
Oh,
What's
man.
that? What's the little phrase in the Winnie the Pooh movie?
What?
You know that one? What is it? I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. All right. What else are we doing here? Let's look at the season team totals.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
Gina's
right.
still on top.
Okay.
But
I feel better
Kyle
about
has
this
more
now.
wins.
Kyle has more
Right.
wins.
My people are more consistent. I will say
Yeah.
Banu was actually my biggest vote getter. He cried a lot.
Yeah, he got a lot of points for crying.
Yes. But without Gina's big point getter, we can still get her.
Uh-oh.
So
No,
again, we have
absolutely.
Kenzie. I've got Tiffany with her idol and all that chatter, right? Because the more confessionals she has,
Yep.
the more points she gets. Yeah, listen, I've got some hope.
Charlie, please. Please, Charlie, please.
Well,
That
Maria's
was
going to
big
get a
now
lot
more
of
than
free
ever.
time too, whatever her plan is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was big for Hunter. It was he always had a lot of confessionals in every episode, so he was getting points from that. Kenzie too, they go to a lot, so that's
It was
where
the confessionals and the immunity wins were really
Yeah,
driving me
yeah.
home there for a minute.
Kenzie. Most of the reason I think Kenzie's the top point scorer for the season at this point. Most of that is because she talks so much. She has so many confessionals.
Good. We like that.
As she should. With
Oh,
her
man.
Thanks
buff
to get the
bow
job
that she
done.
wore to tribal. That was so funny when she like tied the buff into a bow for tribal. No, anyone? No, just me.
I didn't
Okay.
notice, honestly.
No,
You
sorry.
didn't notice it was huge.
Sorry.
It was in her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Okay, we're sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm mourning the loss of my biggest vote getter. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Now, I think we covered everything for this episode and the next on. We talked about our teams, right? Is there anything else that you guys have? There was one last topic I just wanted to briefly discuss with you guys, and that we got some news recently from Jeff Probst that Survivor 50 will be a season that will have returners. When I first heard this, my initial thought was just this is going to be people from all seasons, potentially. Then I was reading something online that people are thinking it's going to be returners only from new era seasons. Have you guys heard anything about this?
I haven't read into it too much. He didn't make any announcements other than like we're going to do all returners, but I would imagine they're going to keep it new era returners unless they make it a point to do like a new era versus like old school, like, which I don't think he wants to do. I think they're trying to kind of separate themselves from the first 40 seasons, which is crazy. But
yeah, it seems very odd to me.
I would imagine it'll be all from the last, from 41 on.
That's what I'm hoping.
The game is so different now. I can't imagine it would be easy to marry the two.
Well, who's everybody hoping to see then?
Well, wait a minute.
I'm curious.
Oh, gosh, who are we hoping to see?
Let's bring Xander back, baby.
Xander, yeah.
Of course, Xander, yeah.
For sure.
About Shan.
Dan, yes.
Shan
was great. And
I wouldn't mind seeing Ricard again. Yeah.
Ricard, yeah. Again. You know who I saw actually on Twitter? I saw who was it? Katura responding once it was announced. She was like, hello.
Bring me back, Katura. I would like to see Emily again too, and Caleb.
I'd like to see Sabaya.
Sabaya, yes, that's a good one. Ooh, who else?
I'd have to look at some more casts.
Yeah, I need to refresh my memory.
Yeah, I'd like to see Randon get another shot. I thought he could have played a good game.
Bring back Carolyn.
Carolyn, yes. Carson would be a good one to bring back too.
Yeah, but isn't Carson kind of getting shit on right now?
Is he?
Oh, I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah,
right?
Mikey's not part of that world.
Oh, I forgot Mikey wasn't here that day.
Jesse, yes.
There's Jesse, yeah. There's been some stuff going on with Carson on social media because some game maker designer has been accusing him of like stealing his ideas and puzzles and stuff to profit off of them. So there's been a lot of drama around that. Yeah, there's been a lot of drama around that.
What about Drea?
Drea, what am I blanking on?
Survivor 42.
Wait, Mikey, how did you do that? Mikey just did the thumbs up thing.
Yeah, how'd you do it?
I don't know what just happened.
That happened in an interview with us once, and we saw somebody that we were interviewing do that, and we've been trying to figure it out ever since.
Oh my God, that is fireworks.
Wow.
How did you get that?
I just went like this.
Can we all do it?
No, it looks like it's
only
Mikey.
Again. What the hell is happening? Are you on your phone?
No. I'm on my computer. I just got a new computer though. So
you're on your what?
My computer.
Oh my.
I'm so upset that
you just have to hold it up for like a while.
Thumbs down. We've all tried.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Can you get like a background for the thumbs down?
I don't know if the fireworks was just because I have my hands up though.
It will.
Imagine if you do 2 thumbs down and it's just like giant middle fingers
popping behind
you.
Crazy.
Maybe because he's in as a guest.
It's rain. Wow.
That is correct. I'm so upset that you're the only one with the power to do this.
Good. That's off brand.
Nothing for middle fingers? I was hoping.
Nah, nothing.
Wow.
But all right. Anybody have anything else?
Oh God, yeah. Jesse. I'm thinking about Jesse coming back. I'm very excited about it. I hope it happens.
I think he would definitely be down too.
I didn't feel like we got enough for Drea. We don't remember Drea.
Remind me which one
Drea. Because this is when the thumbs up happened.
Yeah, I derailed.
I know, and then everybody forgot about Drea. Hold on.
Who is Drea?
Drea Wheeler.
Oh, of course.
I know.
Of course.
Which season was that?
It was 40 something.
Oh.
42. It was 42.
You know what
I'll
I'd like
put
to
it-
see come back? Tiffany. Not this Tiffany. The other
Tiffany
Tiffany. What's her
Seeley
name
from
also?
Plainview.
Oh.
Yes.
Tiffany Seeley from Plainview.
Yeah.
That's where she's from.
Yeah. Right down the road from us.
Drea.
Oh, I remember Drea.
Sorry to this
yeah.
man. He could be walking
No,
down the
I
street.
remember
I wouldn't know a
Drea.
thing.
Yes.
I wouldn't know a thing.
Wow, so rude.
I remember Drea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mikey says he
thinking now?
doesn't.
You know who I'd love to see come back?
Jen?
Mr. Danny McCray, so we can start getting those Kiki shout outs again.
Kyle.
Danny
Oh, no.
McCray.
Kyle.
No.
NFL Dallas Cowboys player, Danny McCray.
Oh, yes.
Loves his wife, Kiki.
No.
Kyle was so
I would
annoyed.
just be busy
about
on Monday nights. I'm busy.
Kyle was so annoyed by how often Danny McCray would bring up his wife that I made an entirely separate Kiki shout out segment just for the podcast so that I could highlight all the times that Danny spoke about his wife. I really enjoyed it. And I continued
Oh, you know what?
for the Challenge USA. What about Evie?
Oh, yeah. Evie. Bring that whole tribe. Evie, Tiffany, and Xander. Bring them all back. Put them together again. See what happens.
I want to see Kendra back.
Kendra.
I do.
I
I feel like they could put.
Mikey, Kendra was literally this past season.
I feel like they could definitely put a good cast together with this.
Mikey,
Yeah,
we
there's a lot
literally
of people
did
to
not
choose
watch
from.
that season.
And that's the thing. There have been good people in these seasons. We just haven't always liked the game.
Right.
What about
Yes.
Zach Wertenberger, Corey's brother?
It would only be more exciting just because he's Corey's brother at this point. Because no one remembers him for his Survivor
Because
game.
he was in an episode.
Right, like that's really.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Everything.
Kendra.
Kendra.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Michael.
I needed to see the messy bun on the top of the head. I couldn't.
Who was it? Was it her and was it Kelly that were close?
Yes, Kelly.
That
Kelly would be a
gave
good
us
one to
like
come back.
the awesome
Oh,
looks
that was my
on the
other
jury.
draft
Yeah.
person.
They gave us
Sorry.
so many good reactions during like jury like during tribals when they were sitting in the jury. Every facial reaction from them was fantastic.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Bring back
Wow,
Bruce
I
again.
forgot
Let him play a
Kelly.
third time. Come on.
Who?
Bruce.
Bring back Bruce again. Let him play for the third time.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
That's a waste of a spot. Now, if it was like a stupid twist, the person just shows up for one day and then they just leave. Like, haha. Also, you get it. It's very appropriate. Like, that would be fine, but I don't want him to really like. I don't want.
No,
him to
I don't. I was joking. I
That's
don't
not
want to see him
everything.
again. He was driving me crazy the whole season. I was rooting against him, but he was on my team.
Honestly, even like I have the season 43 cast up now, and like even on there's other people that I wasn't saying, like Carla. I wouldn't mind seeing again. Noelle.
Carla.
Carla would
I like
never
Carla.
come back.
I don't think she would either.
She would
was
never
going
come back.
through it on that show.
Yeah.
And she
But-
went through it
Had a
after the
rough
show
time.
too.
I was gonna
People
say,
are not-
isn't she not
Yeah.
even on social media? Like, she would never come back.
She's done. She's
Yeah.
had enough.
But Noelle, Owen, Cassidy.
Owen.
Cassidy.
Oh yeah, Owen.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
A
people.
lot of good options.
So
Absolutely.
Survivor 50, when would that be? That's not because what is this?
This is
46,
40.
This was 46.
So
this would be
47 would be September.
2026.
48. 29.
I
Yeah,
think
it would be this
be the-
season of 2026.
Yeah. Yep.
So far away.
So many new people that we haven't even met yet that might be on
Right.
it.
There's
I
also going to be
know.
3 seasons before then of new people.
Yeah. To be honest, though, like I'm glad that we're talking about this now, even if it is 2 years out, because it makes me feel like if they're already thinking about it, and maybe now thinking about potential people that they could get back and stuff, maybe they'll like really take the time to make sure that season 50 is like the season that it should be. Like
Mhm.
it would be such a bummer to have that sort of milestone and it's a flop season. So like take as much time as you need. You need 2 years to plan it? Go ahead. Like,
And add more days to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how awesome would it be if like season
Yeah.
50 we got to, it was like a longer season again. We had more people in the cast. It was like 24 again or something like that. You know, like
Every single person that's played in the new era comes back. Like
The
it's like
longest season
100
of all
people.
time.
It's like, no, this is not what we meant. This is like Squid Game Survivor.
what about Gabler? You want Gabler back?
No.
Bring them all back.
No, I do not.
I wouldn't mind it.
No.
He didn't bother me that
10
much.
tribes of 10 to
No.
start.
All right. Well, anything else? Anybody have any other thoughts for the benefit of the community?
Not for the betterment, no.
Okay.
For the worserment, perhaps.
The worst are men.
I do just want to share something very important with you guys. This.
Monday.
That's right. It is Gina's favorite day. It is Monwan Monday.
We need a
my
bigger
gal here.
Monwan Cynthia.
Yeah, maybe I'll tweak that. I'll tweak that for you.
Yeah, like move like Monwan to the left, and then Cynthia can just be like the whole other side. Like
I like it. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
All right,
she's
very good, very
saying Monwan Monday. It's a speech bubble. That's all. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out
you
there.
could. If she was, I mean, well, she wasn't Monwan. She had the power of Monwan.
Oh,
Right,
naturally,
right.
of course. Something
Yeah,
that I
power of
fully
Mon-
understand and know.
The power of Monwan was transferred to
Power
her
of Monwan compels
Yeah.
you.
through
Never
this
forget. I
through this designer bag that she wore on her head. That's how the power was transferred.
for weeks I thought she was Monwan. I thought that her name was Monwan.
No,
So that's listen. Makes
She's
just as
just
much
a-
sense.
Yeah, she's just a disciple of Monwan.
How could I be so stupid?
Anyway, what else do we have coming up this week? Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be discussing the newest episode of The Challenge, All Stars 4, which will be airing this Wednesday. So we'll be talking about that Thursday night at 8. And then Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about the most recent week in the Big Brother Canada house. We're getting down to the pointy end in that
Yeah,
one.
it's his
We're
finale.
down to final
Eve.
5, right? Down to final 5.
Mhm.
So
Gina's last BB Can stream.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to
Oh,
go to
that's
Tennessee
right.
to play with the baby. I'm sorry.
yeah, Gina she just decided that she doesn't want to be with us for season finales anymore. So
No,
Unbelievable, Gina.
it'll
How
just be
dare
me
you
and
miss a
Kyle.
week?
Yeah,
it's wild.
yeah.
Michael, I don't want to hear it.
It's funny because I've missed weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, well, we are Strat
And if
Chat,
you're
your
in-
favorite reality TV
Oh.
podcast. Oh, what's that, Mikey?
I was just gonna say, if you happen to be in Birmingham, Alabama this week, come on down and see Pretty Woman the musical.
There you go. All right, yeah. Musical. Yep. Mikey is currently traveling the country,
That's cute.
performing. So if you are in Birmingham, Alabama, please go see Mikey. All right.
I can't
I love
believe
it.
only you can do that.
I think it's fantastic.
There more.
Yeah.
I want there to be more.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But all right, we are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're on all the social media platforms, so find us out there. Throw us a like, a comment, a subscription, a follow. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a really nice review. It would be very helpful, and we really appreciate it. All right, everybody. Peace.
Lido.